Number one for a movie is, of course, story. So I always read the script because you get a feel kind of like what they're looking for or what the overall vibe is. Kind of sit back sometimes and do some drawings or very crude little stuff. It can be anything. And then the director or the producers are like, oh, I really like that, or oh, that's great, I didn't think of that. I'm actually very dyslexic. Never read or can calculate very well. Ever since I was always sculpting and just do. When I first arrived in Los Angeles, I was 19 and I was interning. I had a little working visa, or at least I could intern. I wasn't allowed to make any money, but I never let go of the passion, so I always made sure I was able to survive, and I never gave up on it. Even though there were moments I was like, what am I doing, you know? But pretty quickly Stan actually said, or there was kind of like word that, you know, it's like, oh, we got to keep him around, and of course I was hoping for that. I was working very hard, but he was very nice that he eventually ended up sponsoring me and got me my green card and 2 other working visas, and it's forever changed my life. In 2008, Stan Winston passed away, and yeah, it was such a sad moment for the industry, but also for all the people that worked there, and then that formed legacy effects. 3 years went by, and I got an email from Rick Baker, who, just like Stan, I mean, is one of those iconic figures that I'd followed for years. Of course, I know all his work, and he asked me, he's like, hey, you know, maybe this project. It was Maleficent. It was one of those milestones. Again, we had Dick Smith, and I had worked with Stan Winston, and then Rick Baker. So I started working for Rick, and I met Angelina Jolie at Rick's studio at Innovation, doing that with Tony G and for Rick Baker. That is a prosthetic makeup combined with a beauty makeup. Especially as a special effects makeup artist, you also have to know regular makeup. I think she was in it for 70 days and it was a 3-hour makeup. It ended up being a good working relationship with Angelina as well, because not long after that I did Unbroken. An interesting part about effects makeup is that you work so closely with actors and trying to work out a system, because it takes a long time to get glued into all this stuff. It is a mindset as an actor to get yourself into. As you go along, you find a system, and you're very punctual with what goes on first, which glue, which brush. But it's definitely a team effort. After Maleficent with Rick, I came back to Cinovation, and then he eventually said, you know, I think I'm gonna close this place down. I'm 63 now. But he actually said to me, he's like, look, you've worked for Stan, you worked for me, you're too good to work somewhere else again. Now you need to do your own thing. The process for now that I have my own company, it's the same drive and it's the same anxiousness to get something great on film. I got to do Rings. We finished Rings for Paramount, and that was a fun character to revisit. Actually, the first 2 films were done by Rick Baker. Samara makeup, as quickly as you see her, takes about 6.5 hours to get her in, because she's completely covered in prosthetics, and she has this whole water rig under her dress that makes her drip water constantly, and she has this wig and contact lenses and all this stuff. Not long after that, I actually got an offer for LBJ, which is going to be directed by Rob Reiner, and it was starring Woody Harrelson. Woody has never been in any prosthetics, so he was very nervous about it, on top of, you know, like, well, and then he has to perform, you know, his roles. I also don't want to cover up the actor. Woody is amazing, and people want to see Woody. It's more creating an essence of LBJ. A full silicone neck, cheeks, chin and nose, dentures, contact lenses, bigger ears, and then a toupee. I think we got the makeup down to 1.5 hours, which is very fast. Rob and V and everybody, the producers, they were all so thankful, including Woody at the end. He's like, I couldn't have done this character without these pieces. No matter how hard it gets and how far away it may seem, you gotta be willing to work hard, just work. Long after I'm gone, there will be some kid somewhere in the world that will look at Pan's Labyrinth and will look at the Pale Man and get inspired by it. Follow it with your heart. If it doesn't come from the heart, it's never gonna make you happy.